an artist. This is my exhibit. I'm here at the Abrams Art Center at the Henry Street Settlement on the Lower East Side, and the women represented in the exhibit began their lives on the Lower East Side, so I'm very happy to be here. In March of 2008, I worked for a week in Kingston, Jamaica on a restoration project in the Hunts Bay Cemetery, which is the oldest existing cemetery in this part of the world. When I came back, I was thinking about them a lot and thought that I wanted to go to the Chatham Square Cemetery, which I knew was from about the same time period, the middle 1600s. When I was at the cemetery, what I saw was the stones exist, but the text is just almost, I would say, washed away, but it's also by wind, and it's just very, very difficult to read. On some of the stones, there's just nothing to see. So I realized that I would have to do a lot of research to find out who the women were and what their stories were. These were the first Jewish women here, and they were among the first women here. There were very few women. There were very few people. New Amsterdam in 1654 was a very small little community. So I was interested in how the women had survived and had, been the foundation of what became a thriving community. One of the things that I had found was that the women in particular, but probably everyone, was very concerned about hygiene and very concerned about their teeth, because their teeth started to deteriorate at a very young age, in their late teens, early 20s. Tooth rags were used up until toothbrushes became something that were mass-produced. And I had a linen nightgown that my great-grandmother, who was born and raised and married on the Lower East Side, she had made this nightgown for her trousseau in 1891. And the linen was disintegrating, and so I felt that it would not be disrespectful, and in fact would honor my grandmother and put part of my personal history from the Lower East Side into the exhibit. So the tooth rags are made out of the linen material, and they're dipped in salt, which was one of the substances that was used to clean the teeth before tooth powder or toothpaste. Let's see, this is Esther Marchesi Marquez Gomez, and she died in 1718. Many of the names are what we would think of as Hispanic. A lot of the Jewish families were Sephardic. They originated in Spain, left during the Inquisition, moved to Amsterdam, and when the Dutch took over Recife in Brazil, they moved to Brazil, and then when the Portuguese retook it, some of those families are the families that came here to New Amsterdam, which later became New York. When I was doing my research, I found that there were slaves, and a number of the slaves were named in wills, and I wanted to honor the female slaves as well, so I used African chew sticks in memory and honor of the female slaves. So I started thinking about, what was used before the toothbrush and what did the toothbrush look like, and the toothbrushes were made of cow bone and horsehair, and I realized that I had never carved a bone before, but it is something that I, wanted to try and do. I am very process-oriented, and, it's sort of, I'm covered from head to foot in whatever material I'm working with. So I worked at one with the bones and then took them to my studio, and actually didn't realize for a while that there was an odor, and it's an organic substance, and so that was sort of pervasive in my studio. You know, I think that as I worked with the bone, I thought of these women, and you know how everything they did was so challenging and hard, and I think that working with the bones really brought me closer to these women as individuals.